All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to ZAA's Professional Development Webinar Series. My name is Tatiana Jordan, and I'm the Communication and Membership Coordinator with ZAA. For those of you joining us for the first time, ZAA is the Zoological Association of America. We are a nonprofit, member-based accrediting organization dedicated to responsible wildlife management, conservation, and education. ZAA upholds the highest level professional standards in animal welfare, safety, and ethics. ZAA advocates by proactively supporting our members, animals, visitors, and industry. ZAA educates by providing professional development to our community and beyond. And ZAA conserves by promoting conservation efforts and awareness of all wild things. So just to let everyone know, we have our 2025 annual conference in San Antonio this year from October 1st to the 4th. Registration is open and the early bird deadline is August 15th. If you would like to join us at the conference this year, you can visit our website at zooassociation.org to register. Some other information, we do have our awards that are open. So here on the left is a list of all the different awards that we have. Awards application are due on June 30th. So if you would like to apply, definitely start applying sooner rather than later. We also have our scholarships that are open. Those are due on July 1st. We have two of them, the Mickey Olson Scholarship and the A.G. Higginbottom Scholarship. So the first one provides an up to $500 stipend, and the second one is $400 plus the free conference registration. And if you have any questions on the awards or scholarships, you can go ahead and email us at info@zooassociation.org. So some of our upcoming webinars, we have on July 2nd, July 9th, and July 16th. We have a series from ZDR Free. So they'll be coming and speaking about these different topics. Again, all our webinars are Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you would like to register to any of these, you can visit our website. If you would like to access any of our past ZAA webinars, you can scan the QR code here. Or you can visit our website at zooassociation.org to join and become a member and view those webinars. Just some reminders, the audience will remain muted at all times. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. You can go ahead and type your questions using the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. You can give your favorite question a thumbs up, which will boost it to the top of the list and make it more likely to be asked. Again, all previously recorded webinars are available on the members only page at zooassociation.org. And if you would like a certificate of participation, you can email me at membership@zooassociation.org. So tonight we have the topic is animal management programs, what they are and why they work. We have Tiffany Sechting, who will be coming to speak. She is a vice president at Natural Bridge Wildlife Ranch and the Giraffe Studbook and Species Manager. So Tiffany, if you would like to go ahead and take it over from here.
Okay, let me get my screen shared here. What happened here? There it goes. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a first timer, so
No problem.
there we go. Okay. Is that seen?
No, we're not seeing your screen.
Not seeing my screen. I'm gonna get fired before I get hired here. Okay, let me try again, Tatiana. And
Perfect.
that work?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, very good, very good. Well, I appreciate everybody joining in to learn a little bit more about ZAA's animal management programs. We are blessed to have awesome membership with an array of species. And the most important thing is that ZAA created this program to help everybody gather, unite all of those species, all that information across membership, and use that for the benefit of each individual species. Involvement is two-pronged. Obviously, having facilities that share their information with the manager of that species that then can broadcast that to everybody else that's involved with the program. But also have to have a volunteer, because we do not, ZAA does not have paid people to be a species champion. It's all volunteers within our membership that do so. There's different layers of where this AMP is right now. Starting with the species that are involved, which I'll go over each of those species. There is an MMP, PPP, which we'll talk about the difference in those, and then different ways to participate. And also another element is the conservation element that we feel is very, very strong. And the reason that we are doing that is to make those connections with those populations that are surviving in the wild. Each of the species that there is a program for, each of them has a designated NGO that is supported for that particular species. And as we go through each of the current species that we have in the program, they will be listed as well. And I'm not gonna read everybody's name, not gonna read all the programs, but I'll go through it slow enough right now as we go through each of these species that you have time to look over and see it. But then, like Tatiana was saying, you can also go back to the recording and slow it down, pause it, and then you can research each one of those species and those NGOs as well. Each of these species might be species that you have that you want to join and you want to participate in. And then each of those managers, at the end, I'll have my contact, as well as you can contact, the info at Zoo Organization as well, to get in contact with each of those individuals. So as I started with the cheetahs, then the African penguin is another program. Southern white rhino, some of the species have more than one NGO, some just have one NGO at the time. The species that I went through already have a species manager and a separate stud bookkeeper. Some species, like the mandrill, that Karen is tackling by herself, depends on how many individual animals they are and how big that stud book, how large of a task that is to take on. If you can do it by yourself or having two people that may be interested in being involved. Schmitz, Karen, and as you go through here, you'll see Karen is a whiz at stud books, obviously, and has started and taken on a lot of these species to help get a lot of these programs started. Some of the species are just starting. Some of them have been going a lot longer, and kind of depends on like the fishing cat, is a smaller species to tackle. The rough lemur, this is one that is just getting started. And bongo, Jackie is just starting to tackle this, and as some of these species grow and develop, you get different people that might jump in and get involved. As with the clouded leopard, Stephanie has just started this one as well. And the giraffe, which is my focus, and it has been a large task. So, but it's very rewarding, which we'll talk about that after a while. So there is MMPs and PPPs. The MPPs, sorry, I typed the letter wrong. The MPPs are basically a more advanced level. In other words, not only do they have the stud book that's created, the information that is created, the breeding recommendations, but they also go a step further and they have a recommended master plan that is redeveloped every 2 to 4 years. These two species are the ones that have been, I think, in part of the program from the get-go, from the beginning, and just dives a little bit deeper into that species. So that's the difference. The master plan versus just a population plan program. The population plan program involves a stud book. Also, then as that stud book is developed and there are multi-generations that then can be taken and create these breeding recommendations, then that's the kind of the starting point. All of this, as ZAA is very based upon, is that it is not, it's so they come up with these programs. We have all these recommendations. It's nothing you have to do. It's obviously something that everybody that's involved, it's different than like an SSP where it's more regimented. This is more involvement and a decision on each of those organizations of what they're going to do. Okay, those species that I just went through are the current programs. Obviously, there's a whole lot more species out there that can use programs, that can use those volunteers that are interested to build those programs. So if you're interested in being either a species manager, a stud bookkeeper, or both, very much wanted. You can contact info at zooassociation.org and email them. At the very end, I will have my email, and I am more than happy to put you in contact with the current committee that can get you going on the right foot there. My experience. So there's different people with different levels, and everybody is welcomed. When I jumped in, I'm very passionate about giraffes. We've had giraffes at the Wildlife Ranch since our inception, since we started 40 years ago. We just started with a pair. We just had our 59th baby born. We actually had our 58th and 59th born on the same day. First time we've ever had two born on the same day. Have 4 babies under a month old right now. So obviously very passionate about giraffes, but I had 0 experience with Zims. So don't let that intimidate you. So having the passion is first and foremost. There's a learning curve if you have no experience. If you have experience, like Karen that did have the experience, is also, we're very blessed that we have a number of folks that are on the committee that you can connect with a mentor that can help walk you and guide you through the different steps of getting started. Because like I said, everybody has a different level of experience. There is a huge time commitment. When I jumped in, I did not really realize that how much time. So I've had ebb and flows where I've gotten deep into it, and then times that life just pulls me away and I have other commitments too. And you know, everybody understands that. The committee understands that because this is on a volunteer basis. So the one thing that I think I have learned the most out of doing this, the most important key is time scheduling. And that's just on my personal schedule, is just being able to take a little bit of time, every week. Just say, okay, I'm going to dedicate, 2 hours every week, so it doesn't get overwhelming. And like I said, everybody's life, you have ebb and flows, and sometimes more than others, you kind of have to bank that time and build that time. But as a whole, very rewarding. Like I said, is absorbed a lot of time that I didn't realize that time element would be so much, but the reward for it is astronomical. I love the contact. I love just creating those relationships with everybody that has the same passion for the species that I have the passion for. I'm gonna use this as a selfless plug because the NGO that we support is actually NGO that I am executive director of, and that's Save the Giraffes. And when Tatiana came to me and asked me if I would speak this week about giraffes, it was like heaven sent, because this week is World Giraffe Week. So like I said, I'm going to do a selfless plug. We have also, Save the Giraffes is also umbrellaed with other NGOs that we have created this week, have a platform. We have on worldgiraffeweek.org, you can go to, there is all kinds of material that you can share. If anybody is interested in sharing any of it, please let me know. All you have to do is send me your logo and we will put as a supporting partner. Right now, there's no monetary. It's just if you will help us share and spread that educational reach, we consider you a supporting partner. And this is what webpage looks like. We just kind of just plaster everybody on there that's willing to share the information. And there is my spiel. There's my email is attached here. Like I said, please feel free to either contact Tatiana at the office at the info email, or email me here directly, and I will, if I don't have an answer, or if you're interested in a certain species, I will put you in contact with the right person. And I greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you, Tiffany. Just a reminder, everyone, you can go ahead and put your question in the chat using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We did have someone tell you congratulations when you were talking about your babies that were born. So just wanted to let you know. I have a couple questions for you. So a couple questions first regarding the AMPs. So what criteria does the committee consider when deciding to add a new species to the AMPs?
They've gone through very John is very methodical on how they do have a list. I'm kind of bouncing around and not answering. They do have a list of species that they have really targeted. And if anybody is interested in a particular species, then I can also reach out to John and get you connected with him to see if that specific list. I should have had that. I should have had that ready. I should have known that was going to be a question, and I should have had that as a part of my presentation. So I apologize.
No problem at all. Thank you. If you are part of an AMP, so if your facility is part of an AMP, what requirements exist? So I know there's a potential monetary donation, and can you talk maybe more about that? And if there's other requirements as part of an AMP?
As far as being a part of, yes, if it's an endangered species, they do have a requirement that they want you to donate $500 for that NGO. And they, if it's multiple NGOs, they basically just put the money in the pot and then they separate it that way. If there's just a single NGO, then that donation goes to them directly. If it's not on the endangered species list, they just strongly recommend that you consider some kind of donation to help that species wild population.
Good to know. Thank you. So you mentioned the NGO that's listed. Is that something that the committee decides and can you pick another place where the donation goes, or how does the committee decide the specific NGOs?
The committee, the committee makes that decision. How, what ramifications there are for that decision, and if there is another NGO that you would suggest, that's something that would have to come up in front of the committee. But if it is one of the NGOs that they pick, that is a mandatory donation, and it goes to that NGO specifically.
Okay, thank you. Going back to my first question, there was a follow-up question from someone. They're asking, at this current time, what species is going to be the next on the AMP?
I don't know the answer to that, but if you email myself or Tatiana, I will share that list.
Okay, thank you. Are there any studbook workshops to learn how to keep them?
Tatiana is can answer that better than me, but the AMP has offered workshops in the past that have been very much worth my while in going. I can speak from that personally, and other people friends that have gone, I think they can attest the same thing.
Okay. Are there any resources you would recommend for people to learn more about stud bookkeeping and maybe other workshops that you know would be helpful?
I know when I first delved into this and knowing absolutely nothing about ZIMS, is I believe that I was able to research that without having my membership. That was a number of years ago. Things might have changed, but I kind of laugh because I'm one of those tactical kind of people, and I had to print everything. And I think I printed probably about 300 pages. So there is a vast amount of information out there. Honestly, me personally, my biggest learning curve is that I found that ZIMS is very PC minded, and my brain only works Mac. So that was kind of my biggest learning curve on it. But it's not hard. It's just a matter of being able to play and use things. When there has been workshops offered, it's wonderful because they basically set you up as basically a phantom user, and you can play with it and you can use it and have some experience with it without messing anything up. That was another one of my anxieties, is when you very first start using ZIMS, is that you're gonna mess something up. And there you can generally go back and change things. There are a couple exceptions that you kind of have to be confident. But at that time that I started, they didn't have a strong mentoring program that they do right now. And so that mentor gives you that confidence to, nope, click the key, hit return, you got it.
Great. Also wanted to add, Ken, he's on here right now, and he was a previous chair of a AMP Conservation Committee, and he mentioned that either in 2026 or 2027, there will be a stud book workshop, and it will be widely advertised for anyone interested.
Perfect.
Um,
Strong recommended on my part.
Yes, great. What advice would you give to someone new to species management and SIMS who wants to get involved with AMPs or stud bookkeeping?
Is just to kind of to reach out to somebody that can tell you if that species is on the radar. If it's one that's on the radar, I'm gonna once again hit that mentor. that will lead you through the steps of what to do first, what to do second. Some of the stuff, when I started, I kind of went a little gung ho and got kind of the cart ahead of the horse on some things. So using that mentor and not being intimidated by asking them, they can make sure that you're doing it in a methodical fashion that will not get the cart ahead of the horse.
Awesome, thank you. Do you have to actively work in a zoo in order for you to be a part of an AMP, or could you be a part of a conservation organization that seeks to work with zoos that may be interested in a species that could be a candidate for an AMP?
I'm not going to answer this with 100% authority, but I would think that anybody that would be interested that has the time would be considered. But like I said, any of those questions that I can't give you a 100% answer, feel free to email me or Tatiana, and we will get you the answer.
Yeah. Is there an overlap with SSP individuals or only ZAA individuals accounted for within the program?
Oh, there's really not any overlap. If they're already in SSP, obviously, now that there is a caveat to that, because if that animal is not one that SSP is using per se, I would think that we can pull that in. There are gonna be a lot of associations that are members of both AZA and ZAA, and it is a balance between those. But if they're not in the SSP program right now, then I think that that they could definitely be freed up. And I guess it goes species by species for sure.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you. Also wanted to add, Ken mentioned in the chat that in Basecamp, so if you are a ZAA member, in your member resources and in Basecamp, there are some articles from past ZAA magazines on how you can become involved with AMPs. And also ZAA members, whether they are part of a ZAA zoo or not, can become involved with AMPs, but you do have to be a professional member. So hopefully that helps answer any question that anyone else may have. Another question for you. So I know you talked a little bit at the beginning about stud bookkeepers and species manager for each of the AMPs. And for some of them, it's the same person for both. So if, for example, someone is interested in being the species manager for one of those AMPs that already has the one person for both, would the committee be open to having another person helping out?
Yeah, I would think so, for
I
sure.
would like are the spots already filled? Is that same person doing both jobs? Does that mean that one of the two can be open for another individual?
I would think that the committee is I would think is willing to take anybody that's willing to volunteer for anything. And it would depend upon that person. Is that person feel like they need assistance in that? It depends on who it is, what species it is, and there may be, as far as time and volunteering, there may be another species that they want to get started that person would be more of a help in.
Okay, great to know. Someone was wondering, how did your early experiences in animal care shape your transition into scientific and administrative roles?
Oh my goodness. I wear lots of hats around here. I myself have been passionate about animals since I was young. I'm an animal science major. And then our facility is family operated, and I became part of the family. So So in doing that, there's just lots of facets of the business that I participate in. From, administration to species to PR to marketing and all different facets so I get to pick and choose and do lots of great things as far as animals go.
Awesome, thank you. Regarding your giraffe AMP, what are your goals with that specific AMP? And can you talk maybe about how many facilities are part of it? Are you looking to expand? Do you have any specific long-term and short-term goals?
Yes, it's been very overwhelming because there are quite a few giraffes that goes back quite a few generations, and fine tuning our next step in that AMP is my next step is to get those numbers down to where we can share that, and then breeding recommendations can be created from that. As far as facilities to join, always welcome, anybody that is willing. Now, as far as being a part of the AMP, it's accredited facilities. And if you're not accredited, you just go through, basically, I guess, you just fill out an application to, if you're not an accredited facility, to be a part of the AMP program.
Okay, thank you. How can a smaller or newer facility contribute meaningfully to an AMP program? Because maybe smaller ones or newer ones may not feel like they have a lot to offer. So what maybe would you tell them?
No, I think it doesn't matter what size your facility is. If you have one animal or you have over 20, just speaking from giraffes, you can be a part. If you're willing to share your information, and then giraffes are a little bit harder, as compared to primates or ones that you can kind of put in a carrier and shuffle down the road. Giraffes are a little bit different than that, but you can have, one Schmitz, and that may be a huge part that can participate in different breeding programs. And just because you have one doesn't mean that those genetics aren't very, very important to the program.
Thank you. Last question I have for you. So I know I asked you about your goals with the giraffe AMP, but could you maybe talk about ZAAs and the committee's vision for the future of AMPs, and how can members help shape that direction?
Yes, each of the AMPs are at totally different levels. If you look at cheetahs, they have a 3 to 4 year program that they review every year. That program is well developed, is structured, is tight. Then you have other programs that are just getting started. So it has varying degrees, but the committee as a whole, their main goal is to build as many species as you can, and then of those species to develop in each one of those species, excuse me, is to build a breeding recommendation. And the more species that individual species of those species that they know where they're located, where they're at, that builds that species longevity in our captive environment. That captive environment then also will help support the wild population, and we're doing that through the support of the NGOs. So they're kind of working hand in hand in what we're doing there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I don't see any other questions, so thank you so much. I believe you covered everything. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. All right, so just a reminder, everyone, for some of our upcoming webinars, we have the free in July, and again, that is ZDR Free that will be coming and speaking with us about their work and what they're doing. If you would like to go ahead and give us some feedback, you can go ahead and scan the QR code here. So again, thank you so much, Tiffany, for coming and speaking with us. We really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it. And like I said, any questions, I welcome any questions. And if I don't know the answer, I will get you in contact with the person that does.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, let me stop sharing my screen again. All right, I hope everyone has a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye.